Flexcast, we're back. Appreciate y'all still being here with us, man. We had a great guest, did our taste test. We're about to jump into some fan topics. But before we do, I do want to touch on like one of the stories that was really volatile this week, the Jonathan Majors story. So this, for those of you who are unaware, this is the antagonist in Creed. Mm-hmm. He also was a part of a really popular show on HBO called Lovecraft County a couple of years ago. Oh, yeah. He was arrested on assault charges for assaulting his girlfriend allegedly. And very quickly, like within a day, less than that it seems, the witness statements were recanted. The charges were dropped. He was released from his arraignment. Mm-hmm. And everything just kind of seemed like it was much to do about nothing. And that, you know, the victim had, you know, made up these accounts. I read a couple of articles about it. Basically, she had claimed that he had slapped her. So I wanted to bring it here because this is something that is like a male and woman topic, right? Domestic, domestic abuse, domestic violence when it does happen. Mm-hmm. First of all, what was y'all's first reactions when y'all saw the story? Like, what did y'all, were y'all surprised? What did y'all think was going on?
I see, this sounds crazy, but my first thought, because how big he was like, you know, my husband's huge. I was like, damn, if he would have slapped the shit out of me, I would be out. So my thought was, if he couldn't have slapped that bitch because she wasn't up, she wasn't out. But two, to think about how much testosterone pumped and how much his mind chemically had changed to like get into that role, I could only imagine. We don't know what happened, and I hate to be a person to like, you know, take that away from the victim. It could have happened, could not have happened, but to think about how much actors go through to get themselves ready for a role, and then they have to take themselves out of that role and go back into the real world. Mm-hmm. They have these stories that come out, and then it disappears like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those are my first thoughts.
I initially thought, okay, all right, here we go. Mm-hmm. This man is now at the peak of his career. Well, I wouldn't even consider it the peak, but he's there.
The biggest he's ever been.
Yeah, the biggest he's ever been. Mm-hmm. And now we have accusations coming against him. Mm-hmm. Look, I love my black man. I am all for my black man. But you need to learn to watch the company you keep. Correct. Once you get to that point in your career. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from her because, like you said, we don't know what happened. It could have happened, you know, whatever. But no, seriously, he needs to watch the company that he keeps, for real.
Are y'all okay, so it was his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. So it's not just like company.
I don't care. Still, you need to watch
girlfriend that had no problems if he was hitting her before he was this big.
Yeah.
So my question to y'all is this, like, because from what it looks like, it did not happen. It looks like she has there's a mental thing going on with her.
Okay, that's always the case.
And also, I want to add in, I think one thing that's not being said before, being said as much, she's also had other instances of mental, breakdown. And so that's what appears that happened here. The story that I saw come out after the story about the assault was that she actually had a mental like breakdown, and he was trying to comfort her, and that's what actually happened. Mm-hmm. And so my initial take on it was like, okay, like let's say he did assault her, right? Let's go that way. Let's say he did. Let's say that they were ready to pull everything.
They pulled the arm.
Yeah. They were ready to pull everything. But that doesn't happen, and we talked about this like 2 episodes ago. That doesn't happen to everybody with assault and violence. And in fact, one of the examples that was brought up was the example that I mentioned. Dana White like slapped his wife on camera, and virtually nothing happened to him. And I was talking to one of my friends about it, another black guy, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, you need to talk about this on your podcast." He's like, "This affects black men. This is important to black men. This kind of shapes the way why we are how we are." And I've never been in that situation, but I know for a fact that like there's a reason why, people tell black men like, oh, you need to be more open, you need to be more sensitive, you need to be, less this and more that. There's a reason why we're the way we are, because look at how the world responds to our mistakes. Yeah. Let's say he did do it. It's a mistake. They were ready to end him for it. And this is something that happens to other people and their life goes on. And so, I think it's a total double standard. It's super fucked up. I didn't even want to talk about it until everything developed, because it was like, this happened, Sunday, Monday? Mm-hmm. So when we were coming in here to shoot, I was like, we might not talk about it because it looks like there's more developments. But I feel like it's been pretty developed now. Mm-hmm. And, it's a testament to that double standard, man. Like, I can't tell you how many things I would love to be able to just, like, express and do, but I can't because of the skin I'm in. It's taboo or it's unnormal, and that double standard is where we live. That's like literally like that little middle area. That's where black men live. Like we want to conquer the world, but there's a double standard, and we don't know exactly like what mistakes we're allowed to make and like what shit like that. And so that's kind of was my POV on it. I don't think there's any other developments. I think that it's been pretty much fully reported. He was released. Charges were dropped. Her name ain't gonna never see the light of day. I haven't seen it yet.
They're not mentioning it at all.
Because it's like now that she's recanted the statements, I feel like she should have to have some accountability about that.
And she should. That's always the issue for me. Like when people make these false allegations, whether you are having a mental episode, like there are consequences that need to be held for you.
Agreed.
At the end of the day.
They have such a large platform now since his celebrity is rising. This could be a good opportunity for her as his girlfriend to speak about her mental illness and her experiences.
And I also think that, like, we talked about Lovecraft. Did y'all watch Lovecraft?
I watched Lovecraft. I liked it.
Okay, did you? Okay, so we're all aware of, like, why it was stopped, right?
No.
Oh,
No,
this is good. Okay, so this is another thing, like, in like a part of the, like, power structure, right? So the next season of Lovecraft County was going to be called Supremacy.
Okay.
So we know where that was going.
Correct.
Yes.
It was going to be a full-out, like, detailed drama about white supremacy.
Correct.
And they weren't having that. And
Absolutely.
so, like, that and this, in my opinion, are the same issue. It's a power structure thing. She should be held accountable.
Agreed.
He shouldn't have, like, his entire, living taken away from him.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that need to be fixed about this, because this is why black men are the way they are. Like, this is, I'm telling y'all, this is a perfect example. We're not allowed to make certain mistakes. Certain mistakes are curtains for black men. But
I mean, just in general,
for black people.
not even just because of homegirl and that situation, but just in general. Like when y'all are born into this world, black men, y'all already have 2 strikes against y'all. Y'all are men and y'all are black. Like so
you're already being
y'all.
stigmatized.
You cannot make a mistake at all whatsoever. You can't.
And I think that, like, that thin line that we walk, it contributes to a lot of our anxieties. It contributes to a lot of our mental unwellness. It's a thin line that you walk for most of your life as a black man. And so it was interesting to watch this. It was interesting to figure out, like, or to be able to properly detail the double standard. Like, that was my thing. I was like, yo, it's all out in the open now. Let's just talk about it, because this Dana White thing just happened. And so now we got this, and now we get to follow it and watch it happen in real time. And it's something that I wanted to talk about. I'm glad we had the topic. It looks like everything is calmed down now. He's going to go on with his life, but it doesn't always end up like that.
Does he really get to go on? Because it sounds like he may have lost a lot of opportunities because of these allegations.
Yeah.
And now his
Right.
reputation has also been impacted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I guess we won't see the true effects until the 15 minutes of fame of that incident dies over. And even long going.
And I'm sure he'll speak about it, and we'll talk about it when he speaks
he
about it, because
should.
I think his perspective is very important. I know he has to be quiet since it's still fresh, but when he does talk about it, I think his perspective is important, and we'll talk about it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, he has other projects that are rising right now, too, so I could imagine why he's keeping it zip.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of